Hello, my name is Rachel, and today I'm going to share with you a story that changed my life forever. It's a story of love, secrets, and overcoming. But more than that, you will learn English while discovering how I face this challenge. Today, you will learn new English words and expressions as you follow my story about discovering the most unexpected secret of someone I loved. Don't forget to turn on the subtitles to follow the story and repeat some important phrases with me. This will help improve your pronunciation and understanding. I smiled as I poured 2 cups of coffee, placing one on the table for Mark. Our mornings were always my favorite part of the day. Sitting by the window, we'd talk about our plans, laugh at little jokes, and dream about traveling the world. Mark wasn't just my boyfriend, he was my partner, my anchor in a busy and unpredictable world. Our relationship felt perfect. Mark was charming and attentive, always knowing how to make me feel special. He'd surprise me with small notes in my lunch bag, flowers on random days, and compliments that never failed to make my heart flutter. I truly believed we were building a life together, one step at a time. We're a perfect match, I thought so often, feeling lucky to have him by my side. But sometimes life isn't what it seems. At first, it was subtle. Mark started taking more business trips than usual, always to the same city a few hours away. I didn't think much of it. He worked hard, and his career meant a lot to him. But then little things began to change. He stopped sending me those sweet, random texts during the day. He seemed distracted when we talked, as if his mind was somewhere else. One night, I asked him how his trip went, and his response was so vague it felt rehearsed. Work's been really busy, he said, avoiding eye contact. I tried to push away the nagging feeling in my chest. He's just tired, I told myself. It's nothing. But deep down, I couldn't shake the sense that something was different. One afternoon, I decided to clean out the closet in our bedroom. It was one of those rare days when I had extra time, and I thought organizing would be a good way to surprise Mark. As I sorted through old sweaters and shoes, I noticed a small box tucked away in the back corner. Curiosity got the better of me. What could he be keeping here? I wondered, assuming it was something insignificant, maybe old paperwork or photos from his childhood. When I opened the box, my hands froze. Inside were pictures of Mark with a woman and a little boy, smiling like the perfect family. My stomach turned as I picked up one of the photos. On the back, written in delicate handwriting, were the words, "For my husband, with love, Sarah." Husband? I stared at the photo, my mind racing. Questions flooded my head. Who is Sarah? Who is this boy? Why has Mark never mentioned them? The air felt heavy as I closed the box and put it back. My heart pounded in my chest, and for the first time, I felt like I didn't know the man I loved. That evening, I could barely keep my composure as I waited for Mark to come home. Every time I looked at him, the image of the photo haunted me. Who is this woman? Who is the boy? I needed answers. When he finally walked through the door, I took a deep breath, my voice trembling. Mark, can we talk? He looked up from his phone, surprised by my tone. Of course, what's wrong? I didn't waste time. Who is Sarah? I asked, holding his gaze. His face paled instantly. For a moment, he said nothing, his silence louder than any excuse he could have made. She's she's my wife, he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. Your wife? I repeated, stunned. And the boy, is he your son? Yes, he said, looking away. His name is Ethan. I felt tears welling up but refused to let them fall. How could you do this? Why didn't you tell me? I didn't plan for this to happen, he said weakly. It just got complicated. Complicated? My entire world was shattering, and all he could say was complicated. After Mark's confession, I couldn't stay in the same room with him. I locked myself in the bedroom, replaying his words over and over in my head. How had I been so blind? How could someone I loved and trusted keep such a devastating secret? I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. Part of me wanted to scream at him, demand more answers, but another part of me knew that no explanation could fix what he'd done. He had betrayed me in the most profound way, and there was no going back. For hours, I reflected on everything, our time together, the moments I thought were real, but now felt tainted. I thought about my own worth, my future, and what I deserved. Slowly, the clarity I needed began to form. When I finally opened the door, Mark was sitting on the couch, his head in his hands. He looked up, but before he could speak, I said firmly, "We're done. You made your choice when you decided to keep this from me." His face fell, but I didn't waver. I knew I couldn't live with the lies, and I wasn't going to let this define my future. The days after I ended things with Mark were a whirlwind of emotions, anger, sadness, disbelief, but above all, determination. I needed closure, and the only way to get it was to confront the other person in his life, Sarah. I found her contact information in one of the photos and hesitated before calling. When she answered, her voice was warm, unsuspecting. "Hello? Hi, Sarah," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "This is Rachel. I think we need to talk. It's about Mark." There was a long pause. Then, in a calm yet steady voice, she said, "Where can we meet?" We met at a quiet cafe the next day. Sitting across from her, I saw the same pain reflected in her eyes. She had no idea about me, just as I had no idea about her. As we exchanged stories, the lies Mark told both of us became painfully clear. Instead of anger toward each other, we found solidarity. We were both victims of his betrayal, and somehow, sharing our experiences made the burden lighter. By the end of our conversation, we weren't strangers anymore. We were allies, determined to rebuild our lives without him. It wasn't easy at first. The emotional scars from the betrayal ran deep, but with each passing day, I felt myself growing stronger. I focused on rediscovering who I was without the shadow of Mark's lies hanging over me. I started small, taking long walks in the park, reading books I had never had the time to pick up, and even booking a solo trip to the beach. It was my way of reclaiming my independence, proving to myself that I didn't need anyone else to feel whole. I thought about Sarah often. We kept in touch, sharing our progress. She was doing the same, taking care of herself. reconnecting with her passions, and, like me, learning to trust again. It was comforting to know I wasn't alone in this. One evening, as I stood on my balcony watching the sunset, I realized how far I had come. I wasn't the same person who had been heartbroken and betrayed. I was stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever life had in store. You've got this, I whispered to myself. I had learned that love starts with loving yourself first. Today, you learned how to use simple questions like, who is this? And useful expressions such as, he was hiding something. These phrases are great for everyday life. Remember, learning English is like my story, full of challenges, but you grow and become stronger with each step. No matter how difficult it seems, you can do it. If you liked this story, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and come learn even more with me in the next class. See you there.